Is this man still alive? Let's talk about it. Talk about it? Talk about it? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But hold your horses right there in case it wasn't obvious. We're getting into some manga spoilers, so you've been warned. So is Takaba still alive? Well, in my opinion, yes, but honestly, your guess is as good as mine because the community is pretty split on this. But let's just address what we do know. And following the fight between Takaba and Kenjaku, it's clear that Kenjaku kind of came out on top. However, we gotta talk about how this entire fight was basically just a distraction until Akotsu could show up and handle business. So I'm not saying that Takaba explicitly meant to end up in this position, but it is possible that that is the intention. However, I don't think the plan was that nuanced. I think it was more so they sent Takaba in without too much direction, and then they were just going to use the chaos to sneak Kenjaku. Anyway, the comedy scene ends and we're presented with this situation, right? Kenny clearly standing over him, saying that's all, folks. And most importantly here is the fact that Takaba is in funeral garb. Like, this is what you are buried in. So clearly not a good sign, right? So this is the best evidence for people that Takaba is gone and is not coming back. He's in funeral garb, he's laying down, that's all, folks. However, I could get more behind this if this was the last thing we saw from him, right? But it's not. Because in the very next panel, we see Takaba still talking to Kenjaku. So he's clearly not gone yet, and the panel following this one down here is Akotsu showing up. So at no point does Kenjaku deliver a final blow, if you will. However, I do need to say that it's possible that he was already on the way out here. The final blow had been delivered, if you will, and these were just some final moments, last words. It's also worth noting that Takaba doesn't do anything even after Akotsu shows up. He just stays there laying with this smile on his face. So maybe he's still recovering from the fight. Maybe he thinks it's funny if he just sits there. I don't really know. The very last thing we've seen on this at this point is where Akotsu grabs him by the collar and is kind of dragging him along in the most recent chapter. Now, to me, this would imply that he's still alive and he's kind of making sure nothing happens to him. However, it's at least possible that he is gone here and Akotsu is just making sure that Kenjaku doesn't do anything with the body, like potentially swap into it or something for all he knows. However, I think that's less likely than the other idea that he's just, protecting him in this moment. But it could go either way, right? Because Akotsu does have a history of grabbing bodies this very way. But at the end of the day, for my money, I think he's still alive. I think Gege made this intentionally vague, though. However, if he was gone, I think there would have been a moment in the most recent chapter where Akotsu was regretting the fact that he couldn't save him. Because we had this whole internal monologue moment with Akotsu where he was like, I should have been here for the Sukuna fight. Higuruma's gone because of me. Like, just going over all of these regrets, right? It seems like this would have been one of them if he was unable to save Takaba. So that's my 2 cents, but I would love to hear y'all's. Finally, huge shout out to Elijah for the sponsored video tonight. Your generosity is insane. Thank you so much for the support.